Welcome to this video where I'll be covering general information that you would need to consider if you are going to study abroad as an African. And so there'll be different areas we shall touch on, such as academic fit and career goals, financial planning and scholarship, visa and immigration requirements, your cultural and language adaptation when you reach there, long term goals and opportunities. And my name, I'd like to introduce myself as Julie Mungai, the director of Labara Limited, where we provide youth with opportunities for education and work. And so let's get into it. So, for academic fit and career goals, so before you start thinking of a university where you want to start study, you need to consider what is it that you want to do in terms of your undergraduate degree. And so you would check and say, okay, what is my interest? And when you finalize that, now you are able to now decide where you want to go. You might go to, let's say, the US, the UK for various reasons. Maybe that's where you've heard people mostly go, or you say, oh, the very good universities are there. However, it's important to keep your mind open to other places that you could pursue. And so, if you want a place where you can research, if it's UK universities, there's a site called Which Uni, which I will put in the description below. I think it has still maintained its name, where you can search for UK universities in particular. And UK would be the whole of UK, not just England. And so there's also another website if you want to check in terms of rankings. It's the Times Higher Education ranking. I'll put that in the description below. And basically, you can filter the the search results based on different criteria. So, for example, you put in your particular subject of maybe engineering or interior design. So you put it in and then you press search. And so it will show you the global rankings of universities. And so you might find the best universities are always at the top, but there are also other universities that you could consider which you might not have heard of. And so you can you can actually filter it on that particular criteria of subject. You can also filter it on region. So for example, you want to study maybe in North America or in Europe. And so you put in the filter, you can even put that particular course you want to do, and then you filter it. You press search, and you're able to see some results that can help you to guide you on where to study. Now, it's important to see the thing is with the rankings, they also show you the reputation of that university, what is it basically seen as around the globe. Is it seen as a good university? And also, in terms of the rankings, what happens, they are qualified in a certain methodology that the website uses. So it wasn't just randomly put together. They check on different aspects of the university and the quality of the teaching and other areas. And so, in terms of course content, when you go to the university, go to the website, go to the degree where you want to study, and then look at the content, look at the specifications if it's available, or request for them, and have a look at that. And then also check if they have any practical learning opportunities, such as flying out, or maybe a work study. Maybe you can work as you're studying, or basically you can do something practical so that learn you can learn more about the degree and the subject that you have chosen. So they might say, if you're doing something related to geography, they might say you shall take a trip to a particular mountainous region to do an experiment there. And so those are the practical learning opportunities we are talking about in terms of your particular course. And so we shall go to financial and planning scholarships. So it's important to check the cost of attendance and basically, how much will it cost? It's good to pray and say, you know what, I believe I'll just have that money in the bank, but it's important to plan. It's important to plan because many times when you go to the embassy, when you're applying for your visa, they will check your bank account to see if you do have enough money. So it's important to check how much it would cost to attend the university. It's important to check if scholarships and grants, if that is something that you're interested in, to help you with your fees, or even just to be recognized as a scholar. And what you'll find with scholarships is that they will be in different sections. It could be under faculty. It could be for first year students. Any first year students will get a certain discount on their fees, or it could be that you're coming from an African or a developing country. So there are different criterias. There are more, but those are some of them that where you could actually get some scholarships. And so, as you get the scholarships, it's important to try and adhere to the guidelines that they've given and provide all that they require, just so that you have a better footing and you'll be in a better position to be able to gain that particular scholarship. Now, some scholarships will actually ask you, if you're applying when you're in university, they might ask you to ask the school to nominate you, yeah, or they might write an email directly to your school to ask for nominations. And so, of course, you can say you've applied, and if the school sees that you're a good fit, then they can nominate you. And that has happened in the past. You can get very large scholarships and be able to finance your dream of doing your undergraduate. However, it's also good when you look at the scholarships, look at the duration, look at the conditions. Some might say that you need to maintain a certain GDP level. Some may say that you need to attend a certain extracurricular activity, or you need to do some certain CSR. So it's important to see the conditions of that scholarship. And as well as with grants, the good thing with grants is that you don't have to pay them back. And so it's good also just check the guidelines and the requirements for you to be able to apply for that particular grant. Now, in terms of part-time work opportunities, these can really help you to, pay for daily things. And so it's good to check your visa, what your visa allows, okay? So that if you are allowed to do that, then you can look for some work, part-time work to do, and you'll be able to supplement your school fees. And actually, we shall just go more in that in this visa and immigration requirements. So, in terms of the second one, we're talking about work permits. Now, work permits would be most likely either you are allowed to work as you study, or they'll say, after you finish university, then you can be able to work. However, it's important to also just check, when you finish working, are you able to work? They might say if you're from this country, you're not able to work immediately, you have to have a certain time to go back to your country, then you come back. So that is something you look into now. You can look into now, but then you also check for updates towards the end of your studies. Now, in terms of working and studying, there are a number of universities that will allow you to work and study. Many will actually say you can work for a certain number of hours, and that's just so that they protect your learning time. You don't end up working while you're meant to be in a lecture. And so they might say you can work up to these many hours and no more. And then there might be others that will say, you can work, and it's up to you to be disciplined to make sure you attend class as well as work, and basically attend class, do the work, but you're allowed to work. But you have to be disciplined to be able to do both. And so it is important to check. If someone were to go and just assume, and then you find out that you're not actually allowed to do that, then you could be subject to deportation or another sanction. So that is about working and studying. Now, when you are applying for your student visa, it's important just to ask the university or the agency you use, which visa are you meant to get. And so also some visas are determinant on if you're doing an undergraduate degree or a master's or a PhD. And when you do get it, it's vital that you follow the guidelines of that visa, actually the rules of that visa. Otherwise, you might be subject again to a sanction or a fine or even deportation. And you just don't want that to be appear on your passport. And so for student visa process, you have to ensure have all your documents, have the money, your parents, they need to have an account where the money has sat for a few months, so that when the embassy checks, they're able to see that you do have enough money to study in this place. The school should also just send everything that they require. They'll need transcripts, maybe leaving certificate from your high school, your biometrics, just details about you so that they can process you. Many will have online portals, so you can log in and then put those details there. And so, and some of them might even just interact with the embassies that are around. And so, for the student visa process, it's also vital. Be checking the timeline. So, if you're going to be flying out in September, then think backwards and think, okay, so when do I need to apply for the visa? And then when I get it, when do I need to apply to the university? And so that when August comes, your bags are packed and you're flying out very comfortably and looking forward to your new chapter. So, in terms of residency would be more so, after university, and you want to work. So, basically, just complying and being legal in the country. But that is more of when you are finishing. You finished university. However, it's something you start to consider towards the end of your studies abroad. So, in terms of cultural and language adaptation, yeah, talk about cultural fit. It's important. You can go to different cultures, different countries, but it's important to just check how's the culture there. You can do some research, check YouTube, watch videos, look at interviews, check how people are sharing about it. So that when you go there, you're able to fit in. You're able to just be used to, start getting used to, and expecting certain things. Of course, when you're in the country, that's when you know. However, you can still do some research before you go there. You might be going to a very cold country, and then you just go and you've not carried any warm clothing, and then you have to buy there, and then it's expensive. So those are some of the reasons why you need to check and research on the culture. Then, in terms of the language requirements, there might be some universities that might say, okay, we have courses in English. However, if you want to be able to move around the city, it's good to have an A1 or A2 level of that particular language of that country. So, if it's maybe Germany, German. If it's Spain, they might say you need to learn like basic level A1 level Spanish. So those A1, A2, those are basically levels of um, language proficiency. So still again, when you're researching, when you've narrowed down on that university, check the requirements. If it's the US and the UK generally, okay, basically, yeah, you can just speak in English. However, if it's somewhere else, it's good just to check on any language requirements that are needed. And so, also, even if you can even just decide to learn so that you're able just to move around the city and do different things without having to, with ease, let me say. But then also, in this day and age, we have apps that translate. So there's that as well. However, if it is a requirement, let's say you're going to certain countries and their national language is not English, then it's good just to confirm that. In terms of support services, it's important to check that they have services for you as an international student, so that if there's anything that you need or any any sort of support you're seeking, then you're able to go there in terms of the international office. And it can be just things like, during the holiday, do they allow international students to stay on site? Because there's some universities that say, once they close, they close. And so let's say if you're paying for um, the canteen, to have meals there, then you need to be aware that, okay, during the holidays, I can stay, but the canteen is not open. Or during the holidays, they're closed, so I have to look for somewhere to stay. Or during the holidays, it is open, but there's an extra fee for me to stay there. So, those are just things that you need to also be aware of. And in terms of support. it's you know, they're there for you as an international student. So go and ask your questions. And if it's something like, maybe you want to work, your visa allows you to work, you can ask, okay, where are some places. You can ask them if they can introduce you or connect you to some places where you can work. And also, mental health is very important. Please make sure you just engage with their mental health services so that you're able to thrive while you are in that particular country. So, in terms of long term goals and opportunities, but before we get into this, I just want to suggest, when you're going to study abroad, if you're able to pay for everything, like in terms of your accommodation plus meals, then it can really keep your mind at rest because you're not thinking about what to eat for your first year in a foreign country. It's much easier. And so, the good thing, you're just waiting to study. Food is there. You're not thinking, I need to go for groceries, I need to cook this, I need to buy this. Everything is just there. So that would be my suggestion. However, if you decide, you want to go into that kind of, if you want to go into the way of independence and, to make your own food and all that, then that is fine. However, just also note that some of the food that is there might not be like from your country or available. What you eat at home might not be available there. And so it's you might need to be a bit creative in how you make your dishes. However, there are very many YouTube videos of people making food at an affordable rate in university. Okay, so anyway, let's move on. So, long-term goals and opportunities. So, when you're thinking about your degree, think about what it could go into, it could morph into, in a good way. What are you aiming for? If it's medicine, a doctor in what? A general doctor. So basically, you're just trying to see what are the specifics of where I want to go, because studying abroad is expensive. It's an expensive affair, and it's good to just know that, okay, I'm doing this so I reach this particular level or area. And and I would recommend, some it's good to get some work experience. So if you haven't had any work experience during your 3 years or 4 years, then after you finish, get a few months or a year or two of work experience before you start doing your masters and undergraduate, or PhD, sorry, if that's something you want to do. And sometimes, by the way, for certain professions, if you apply and let's say you have the undergraduate degree and you have some work experience, and then they have another candidate who has undergraduate degree, masters, as well as PhD. They might actually take you. Why? Because of the real world life experience that you have. You've actually worked. So it really depends on your profession. And so that's in terms of careers, study, what are you going to be, work opportunities. There's some universities that will provide you a year or semester away in a different country to work. So that can be interesting. However, you can also still work locally. You can work locally, and not just for part time, but you can ask if you can work full time. Maybe it's the holidays, or if it's part time work, you can ask if you can work in that particular speciality. So in terms of when you're in university, you'll meet so many people from different places. So connect, interact, share your culture, learn their culture, and you'll be able to get a whole network of people. So even when you leave university, everybody goes their own way, but you're connected in different ways, and you can get connected either through your studies in terms of the having going sorry, going to the same place for studies in terms of lectures and all that. You're doing the same course, or you can be involved in different societies, such as it could be a regional society, for example, you can say the East African community or the West African community, or it could be based around a sport or extracurricular, such as gaming, and so you can connect in that way. And then, so when you go to all your separate, you leave university and you go to your separate ways, then you can connect online. That's a good thing with this day and age, you can connect online. And then lastly, personal development. Personal development, when you go to university, yeah, you're going to have some downtime. And so invest in yourself, get into sports if that is something you're interested in, or music, or just something that is, it doesn't have to be directly in line with what you're doing, but you're growing yourself in other ways. it's it's important even for your own mental health to be well rounded. However, if what you're doing in class is just all you want to do, that's absolutely fine. However, see how you can develop yourself in terms of your self awareness, public speaking, and different areas like that. And so I hope you were able to reach the end of this video. I hope it has been useful. Please let me know in the comments, what, if you are traveling abroad or if you want to travel, what subjects are you interested in? If you have any questions, please put them in the description. Sorry, please put them in the comments. And for the description, I'll put some useful links for you, how you can get in touch with me at Lagbara Limited so that we can support you in your studies abroad, or if it's work you're looking for, we can register you in our job candidate database, and so we can help you in that way in terms of progressing your career. And so with that, just once more, just check the description for some useful resources, our contact details, and if how you can contact me or Lagbara Limited to support you with your future. Thank you for listening and all the best with your future plans. I hope to see you in the next video, and I hope to interact with you rather in the next video.